the defense wants to ban cameras in the courtroom. How do you feel about that?
There were cameras all over my husband when he was murdered. There have been cameras all over my friends and family mourning. There have been cameras all over me, analyzing my every move, analyzing my every smile.
She's blonde, polished, and freshly widowed. The picture-perfect image conservatives love to champion. But behind the soft lighting and carefully curated quotes, there's a deeper story people are finally starting to see. For many on the right, Erika Kirk was supposed to be the one. The woman who could bring young Christian women back into the conservative fold. But once you dig into the merch, the ministry, and the money, things start to look a whole lot less holy. Before she was Erika Kirk, she was Erica Fran, Miss Arizona USA, 2012. She didn't walk into politics through policy or passion. She came through branding, beauty, and business. In 2016, she launched Bible in 365, a sleek devotional plan that promised followers they'd get through the entire Bible in just 1 year. Sounds spiritual, right? But it was marketed like a lifestyle product, complete with hashtags, influencers, and matching mugs. Then came 2018, and with it, her fashion empire proclaimed street, where hit Instagram hard with minimalist hoodies, caps, and cropped sweatshirts.
By every tear, we deserve to have cameras in there. Why not be transparent? There's nothing to hide. I know there's not, because I've seen what the case is built on. Let everyone see what true evil is. This is something that could impact a generation and generations to come.
Each one screaming faith meets fashion. Her feed became a mix of morning devotionals and marketing copy. You were made on purpose for a purpose. But beneath all that motivational sparkle was a very old-school message about submission and obedience. Through her glossy midweek Rise Up podcast, she mixed scripture with business pep talks, always ending with a soft sales pitch and a link to shop. Yet behind those pastel filters was a theology that sounded more like the 1950s than modern empowerment. To submit to him is not weakness, she'd preach. It is worship.
Assurance to people that Turning Point USA is continuing, and it is. I mean, we are so blessed to have more work than we even...
A humbling blessing. She told her listeners that a wife isn't a slave, just a helper. That they were one flesh. It was the perfect fantasy repackaged for the conservative crowd. Empowerment through surrender. Her audience, mostly young Christian women burned out by Instagram feminism, but still craving purpose. Erika gave them comfort, a cause, and of course, a discount code. Eventually, Erika married Charlie Kirk, the loud, sharp-edged face behind TPUSA, the group that turned campus outrage into a money-making media-fueled empire. Together, they became the ultimate power couple of the algorithmic right, picture-perfect marketable, and made for the spotlight. She was the soft sell, the smiling face of spiritual devotion. He was the hard sell, the political bulldog. Charlie was the fighter. Erika the faith. They prayed on stages, posed for glossy magazine spreads, and built a brand that made their marriage look like divine proof that God himself was blessing their movement. By 2024, there was no line between their identities. Religious influencer and political crusader had merged into one unstoppable machine. But then, one shocking act of violence changed everything. In a single moment, their perfect brand transformed into a story of tragedy and martyrdom. Charlie's death sent shock waves through the conservative world. Within hours, the fundraising engines roared to life. Links popped up across GoFundMe and GiveSendGo, all featuring Erika's glowing photo beside captions like,
They're actually reacting to the lack of emotion and the lack of drive that is coming out of Turning Point USA to figure out who killed him. Yeah, that is how absurd they are acting. Just move on. Just donate to Turning Point USA. This is what Charlie would want. And that's his legacy.
Helped the Kirk family continue the mission. The money poured in like a tidal wave. Fox Business reported an eye-popping $2. $8 million raised in just 48 hours. Newsweek said the total hit $8 million by the end of the week. And when Snopes finally did their count, it was nearly $9 million raised across multiple campaigns, many of which weren't even organized by the family. Commentator Joe Conaison didn't hold back, writing in the national memo that Erika had swiftly embarked on a broad fundraising campaign designed to profit from his horrible murder. The claim sparked outrage. Was this grief, faith, or pure financial strategy? Faith-based outlets rushed to defend her, praising Erika's calm demeanor as a public sermon on grace. But the truth, it wasn't that simple. What people were watching was a strange mix. In spontaneous grief, blending seamlessly into monetized mourning, every tear, every quote, every polished post felt like part of a bigger strategy. Just 2 weeks later, Erika wasn't just the grieving widow anymore. She was officially the CEO and chair of TPUSA, stepping right into her late husband's role and inheriting his $286,000 salary. And then came the massive State Farm Stadium memorial, a spectacle that blurred the line between tribute and political theater. The guest list read like a campaign rally: Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and a parade of conservative stars. There were gospel choirs, fireworks bursting over the dome, and giant LED screens looping Charlie's greatest hits from past speeches. ABC News even called it a political rally in the guise of a funeral. To supporters, it was a spiritual revival. To critics, it looked like a corporate handoff wrapped in faith and flag waving. And by the end of that month, TPUSA's donation portal logged its biggest surge in 2 years.
There's nothing to hide. I know there's not, because I've seen what the case is built on. Let everyone see what true evil is.
Meanwhile, Erika's Instagram followers had tripled overnight. The widow had officially become the brand, selling empowerment while preaching obedience. In countless clips, Erika repeated her favorite line: "Submission is not subjugation, it's strength under God's design." That phrase alone could be the tagline of the Tradife revival sweeping TikTok, where women romanticize domestic life through beige filters, slow mornings, and Bible verses over breakfast. By now, Erika Kirk wasn't just a widow. She was a brand reborn. Her name was everywhere. Her face was on every conservative feed. Her voice echoed across church stages, and her quotes were flooding TikTok like daily devotionals with a marketing twist. What had started as tragedy had evolved into a calculated resurrection, one that blurred faith, fame, and fortune into something powerful and polarizing. Behind the scenes, TPUSA was shifting. The organization that once centered around Charlie's aggressive politics was now embracing a new tone, softer, spiritual, and far more marketable to women. Insiders whispered that Erika was rebranding the revolution, turning Charlie's culture war empire into something cleaner, calmer, and crafted for social media. Gone were the fiery campus confrontations, and came sleek women's conferences, pastel merch, and glossy devotionals that looked more Sephora than seminary. Her first major move as CEO launching Faith Forward Live, a new initiative that mixed worship music with entrepreneurial workshops. The slogan, "Pray, Prosper, and Protect the Truth," said it all. The event sold out within days, packed with influencers, Christian business coaches, and lifestyle vloggers all posting under hashtags like #FaithForward and Rise Up Sisters. It looked less like a ministry and more like a Christian Coachella. And Erika was at the center in her cream suit, smiling through the spotlight as thousands screamed her name.
The entire issue and the energy right now is that people, irrespective of what's happening on paper, don't believe the story. They don't believe the story. And you are, and of course, this is only a snippet of the interview, so I'm sure more will be said here, but I'm getting that you have seen the case, you think it's a solid case, she thinks it's a solid case at least, and is saying, show everybody what you have so they can see true evil. Within her capacity of chairman and CEO of Turning Point USA,
But not everyone was impressed. Conservative columnists began quietly asking questions that others were too afraid to voice. Who exactly was benefiting from all this attention, the mission or the woman leading it? Was TPUSA's grief-driven momentum being exploited to build a new empire under Erika's name? One political blogger even wrote, "Erika didn't just inherit the movement, she franchised it." That line exploded on social media, forcing Erika's team to issue a statement denying any financial opportunism. Still, the receipts were stacking up. Her speaking fees tripled. Her clothing line restocked every month and sold out in hours. Major Christian publishers reportedly offered her a 7-figure deal for a memoir titled Faith After Fire. And each week she'd post another video that blurred devotion and branding, Bible verses paired with soft lighting, gentle piano music, and perfectly scripted messages about surrender and strength. Then came the interviews. Erika sat down with Fox News, CBN, and The Daily Wire. Each appearance carefully produced, each word perfectly chosen. When asked how she was coping, she smiled softly and said, "My husband fought for truth. Now, it's my duty to continue his fight. But through faith, audiences ate it up. But critics online started noticing a strange shift. Her phrasing, her tone, even her posture. It wasn't raw grief anymore. It was performance-level poise. Commentators pointed out that her media rollout felt almost too polished for someone freshly widowed. It's not mourning, one viral TikTok said. It's marketing in real time. Another user compared her post-Charlie aesthetic to a biblical rebrand, claiming that every shot, every quote, every event was building towards something bigger, a full-blown public transformation. And then came the merch. Her proclaimed streetier line relaunched with new limited edition drops. Hoodies embroidered with phrases like God's plan, my pain, and faith wins. Each release sold out in minutes, promoted by mega-orch influencers and Christian YouTubers who gushed about Erika's unshakable strength. Fans called her an angel in business casual. Detractors, meanwhile, called it grief turned into a business model. But while the online drama brewed, Erika was locking down power in real life. She restructured TPU's leadership, reportedly replacing several of Charlie's old allies with her own circle. Younger media-savvy women who came from influencer backgrounds rather than political campaigns.
Could be more transparent about what happened that day. People don't like the stuff that they've seen about Mikey McCoy. They don't like what they've seen about Rob McCoy. They don't like the history of Rob and Mikey McCoy and their involvement here. They don't like the video of Terrell. They don't believe what time text messages were sent or when the phone calls took place. Rob McCoy is lying. In the areas that you can control the transparency, I think doing that would be beneficial to Turning Point USA, because I don't think Turning Point USA is going to...
They knew how to trend, how to monetize, and most importantly, how to control a narrative. Leaked emails from TPUSA insiders later revealed discussions about expanding the brand into streaming content, podcasts, documentaries, and even reality-style series centered on faith-based leadership. One proposal, allegedly titled The Rise of Erika, outlined a 6-part docuseries showing her journey from grief to purpose. Whether that project ever got green-lit remains unclear, but it confirmed one thing. Erika Kirk wasn't slowing down. Even mainstream outlets were forced to take notice. Vanity Fair called her the new face of faithfluencer conservatism. Rolling Stone accused her of turning tragedy into a trillion-view industry. And The Atlantic wrote that Erika Kirk represents the perfect storm. Instagram spirituality meets political loyalty. The reactions online were just as explosive. Supporters praised her as a woman chosen for this moment, saying she was the proof that God could use pain for purpose. But her critics weren't buying it. They flooded X, formerly Twitter, with threads dissecting her every move, every caption, every smile. One viral post read, "She's not mourning. She's marketing a movement." Another pointed out how her speeches used faith as a shield to deflect from growing questions about transparency, donations, and control within TPUSA. Things reached a boiling point when a body language analyst broke down Erika's interviews on YouTube, pointing out micro-expressions and inconsistencies that suggested performative grief. That video alone racked up over 10 million views and reignited the debate over whether Erika's public image was genuine or just the next stage of her empire's evolution. Then came a turning point, a viral sermon clip from one of her women's conferences. In the video, Erika stood under bright lights, looking serene as she said, "God never wastes pain. He multiplies it into purpose." The crowd erupted into cheers, but online, the clip triggered outrage. People accused her of glamorizing trauma, of selling spirituality as spectacle. Others defended her fiercely, saying, "She's turning her into hope." That's leadership. Either way, the conversation shifted. Erika was no longer just a widow or a CEO. She had become a cultural symbol, polarizing, powerful, and endlessly marketable. Every post she made, every quote she shared, every outfit she wore was analyzed like gospel or gossip, depending on who you asked. Her Instagram captioned photos of her new home office with phrases like "building what he started." Her team produced professional vlogs showing her working late, praying over staff meetings, smiling through hard days. The emotional tone was always the same, humble yet unbreakable, sad but shining. And it worked. Engagement skyrocketed, and her following kept multiplying. But as her fame grew, so did suspicion. Independent journalists started digging into TPUSA's finances again, questioning how much of those post-memorial donations went toward continuing the mission versus expanding the brand. Rumors swirled about luxury retreats, designer sponsorships, and insider deals. Nothing was proven, but in today's digital world, rumors spread faster than facts. And Erika Kirk had become the internet's favorite contradiction. To some, she was the model of resilience, a woman standing tall in the storm, honoring her husband's legacy. To others, she was the face of monetized mourning, turning grief into gold while preaching about humility. And the most shocking part, she didn't flinch. Every time critics came for her, she posted a quote, "You can't silence what God has called to speak." With each controversy, she only grew more visible and more unstoppable. By the end of the year, one thing was clear. Erika Kirk wasn't just surviving the storm, she was mastering it. Even The Cut didn't hold back, calling Erika Kirk the algorithmic convergence of influencer capitalism and patriarchy. Ouch, that line stung, but it also perfectly summed her entire brand. Erika had mastered the modern tone, the soothing language of self-improvement, confidence, and purpose, and then quietly redirected it toward devotion. She spoke like a life coach, looked like a lifestyle influencer, and preached like a pastor, all rolled into one glossy package. Her audience didn't feel lectured to. They felt guided. Every post, every caption made them feel seen, inspired, and safe. It's the same parasocial intimacy that powers wellness influencers and self-help gurus. Except here, salvation replaced skincare. The same formulas on soft lighting, affirmations, community hashtags, but with a spiritual twist that made followers feel holy just by clicking like. Critics say that's exactly the danger. By romanticizing obedience, Erika's message makes old-school patriarchy look aspirational again. Submission isn't sold as subjugation. It's presented as strength, beauty, and divine purpose. Inside DUSA, Erika's rise was hailed as strategic genius. A woman in charge that projected inclusivity, a widow, preaching forgiveness that radiated moral authority, and an influencer with millions of followers. That was free marketing gold. She solved the movement's empathy problem without actually changing any of its hardline ideology, turning faith into a rebrand that advertisers could finally get behind. Analysts call it optical progress, near the illusion of evolution achieved through perfect packaging. Erika didn't have to convert liberal women. She just had to make conservatism look sleek enough for brands to buy in, and it worked. 6 months after Charlie's passing, TPUSA reported record-breaking fundraising numbers and announced dozens of new campus chapters. The gospel, according to the girl boss, had officially gone viral. These days, Erika Kirk goes live every week from her picture-perfect cream tone studio. The walls soft, the lighting golden, the atmosphere almost heavenly. She sits there with her Bible open, quoting Proverbs over a gentle guitar track, her voice calm and steady. Everything about it feels intentional. The camera angles, the background candles, the delicate pauses. It's not just content, it's curation. But let's be real, Erika is no longer just Charlie Kirk's widow. That title is outdated. She's become something else entirely. An archetype, the influencer saint of conservative America's internet. The kind of woman who's turned loss into leadership, marriage into ministry, and obedience into a full-blown brand. Every post, every live stream, every polished caption carries the same undertone. A message wrapped in beauty, devotion, and strategy. She speaks about God's plan while wearing designer heels. She preaches simplicity while streaming from a studio worth more than most people's homes. Yet somehow her followers eat it up to them. She's not showing off. She's showing faith and style. Erika's brand of modern Christianity has become a mirror of our culture, where grief becomes growth content, where pain becomes profit, and where belief is carefully packaged to look aspirational. She's made worship Instagrammable, faith fashionable, and obedience feel like empowerment. And that's exactly what makes her so fascinating and so controversial. Because maybe the question isn't whether Erika Kirk is a feminist or a grifter. Maybe it's whether those two roles have merged into the same career path. In 2025, authenticity is currency, devotion is merchandise, and salvation, well, that ships in 2 to 5 business days with free returns. We live in a time where followers equal influence and influence equals power. And Erika has mastered that equation. She sells hope with hashtags, turns sermons into sound bites, and moves millions with a soft smile and a shopping link. She's proof that in today's faith economy, sincerity doesn't have to be separated from strategy. It can become the strategy. Her followers see a woman guided by faith. Her critics see a woman guided by optics. But either way, everyone's watching. Whether you scroll for gossip, inspiration, or outrage, Erika's already won your attention. And in the age of algorithms, that's all that matters. Even her biggest critics can't deny how sharp she is. Every piece of her brand is calculated in the cream aesthetic, the soft lighting, the carefully chosen scripture verses that just happen to double as motivational quotes. Her speeches are emotionally tuned for the algorithm. Never too angry, never too sad, just perfectly shareable. She's learned how to play the internet like an instrument, one verse and one viral clip at a time. But that's where it gets tricky, because when faith turns into a full-time business, where's the line between ministry and marketing? When sermons sound like sales pitches and grief becomes an aesthetic, can anyone still tell where the truth begins? Erika's entire persona exists in that gray space. And that's why people can't stop talking about her. She's redefined what it means to be a faith leader in the digital age. She doesn't stand in a church. She is the church streaming from her own living room. And while her message preaches humility and surrender, her execution screams influence and control. So, what do you think? Is Erika Kirk really reshaping modern faith, giving women confidence, clarity, and community? Or is she just repackaging the oldest power structure on earth in new wrapping paper? Maybe she's both. A believer and a brand, a preacher and a professional, a widow turned mogul perfectly at home in front of the camera. One thing's for sure, whether you love her or can't stand her, Erika knows how to keep people watching. And say what you want, but those extensions flawless. That spray tan on point. And that hair, it definitely looks expensive. If you made it this far, hit like, smash that subscribe button. Share this video with someone who's got to see it. And drop your thoughts down below because this story is far from over. I'll see you on the next.